Hey guys, so after the much highly anticipation, oh my gosh, and the lead up to this week, we have just got back from the cinema from seeing Elvis. And we've got quite a few things to talk about, haven't we? So we'll both give each other our opinions first. So basically, the film Elvis was directed by Baz Luhrmann, who basically he directed Moulin Rouge, which is actually one of my favourite films. And I went to see that in cinema last year, actually, for the 20th anniversary, and I just thought it was so amazing just to be older and just appreciate his artistry, because I feel like he's got a very specific, unique way of directing, and you can definitely tell it's his unique vision. So I feel that was all over the movie. I found it really kind of like interesting because I felt like, I'm not sure what I expected, because we like quite a lot. What's our favourite films? We love Walk the Line with Johnny Cash, don't we?
Oh, brilliant. Absolutely fantastic, that film.
And then we loved Bohemian Rhapsody.
Oh, wow.
Amazing.
Yeah, love that.
But I wasn't too keen on Rocket Man. You didn't like that, did you?
I didn't quite like the style of what it was done in, and it was quite disappointing.
So I feel like, and I felt the same about the Aretha Franklin film. You've not seen that. But I feel like when you do a biopic of someone, there's so many things where, if you're a fan of the artist, you're going to look for every detail, because obviously you've got such an investment in who they are. You know the songs, you know the background. You probably know it better than the director ever will. I know what I'm like when I'm a fan. But then I feel like this kind of movie may have I do think it will have a polarized opinion.
I think it's one of them, you're going to either like it or you don't. As far as I'm concerned, I loved it. I love the idea that it's kind of like, it's not your typical kind of like storyline, where it's kind of like done in more of a biography kind of take to me. And I love that. And I think it encapsulated Elvis, the real Elvis, the person, and his emotions and everything. It just kind of, it got him to a T, and I think he really deserves an Oscar for that performance that he put in. You can tell that he's done this research, and you can tell that, you know, he's put in so much. I mean, you looked at him at times and you thought, my God, that's Elvis. I mean, he encapsulated him so much, didn't he?
Yeah.
Especially on the Vegas years and stuff like that.
Well, there may be spoilers now, guys. So if you've not seen it, don't watch. If you have seen it, and I really want to read your comments as well, because when I started my channel, I said this on my very, very first journey. So if you are new, then do click on my playlist. Click on Elvis Presley. The family's been on it. My nana before she passed. My mum's done it as well. And that just says everything about who Elvis was, because I feel that. So you're a big Elvis fan, aren't you?
You've got to really appreciate what he did for music, because he did take a stance, and that's why they shipped him off to the Navy or Army or whatever like that, rather than go to jail, as you would know. But I didn't really realise the significance, and I didn't really realise what his choices were. Is either jail or the Army, and obviously his mother didn't want him to go to jail or anything, so. But I mean, it tore him. But you know, he come back standing, and you know, that concert before they arrested him, he made the stance, didn't he, with his finger. You would have to watch it to see what I mean.
But I feel like with with the director's approach, you've got Baz Luhrmann who directed it. You've got Austin Butler who played Elvis. Fantastic. Extraordinary, definitely Oscar worthy. And I agree with everything that my mum said. There were times in it where I know that when I did the trailer reaction, where I kind of thought aesthetically I don't really see Elvis, because Elvis was so good looking and so striking, but there were certain moments in it where it really kind of shook you, because he literally, his physicality, his characterization in his face, it really was Elvis. I felt like I fell into the story. His acting was impeccable, which I'll get into. Also need to give credit as well to Olivia de Jong, who played Priscilla, who was just absolutely extraordinary and stunning in her own right. And I felt like their interaction between each other. I felt like it was so genuine. I felt like I was actually watching the story of Elvis and Priscilla and all that as well. And obviously we've got to talk about Tom Hanks as Captain Tom Park.
Yeah,
the Colonel.
It was fantastic in it, and there's so much more you're going to learn about this film, about things that I didn't even know about Colonel Parker. And do you know, like, I mean, to be honest, to me, I think it kind of destroyed him by kind of like keeping him there for his own benefit of paying off his debts and everything. And it's just like, you know, he destroyed him really, because Elvis really did want to tour. He did want to go to Europe, as a lot of Elvis fans would know. And what a shame. Wonder how far that would have took him and what would have happened if he was able to tour. And I think he kind of like kept him pulled back in a cage for his own benefits, really.
I think one thing, when I was watching the film, and I'm going to be completely honest, I went in with no expectations. And like I said, I started this journey so spontaneously of doing Elvis, not thinking that, obviously, you know, he's got a huge fan base, but I didn't know in a kind of YouTube kind of reaction kind of generation how that would do. And then there's so many beautiful people and friends that I've met through this. So Anne, Theodora, gosh, there's so many people, Gary, like all my subscribers who are Elvis fans. It's so endearing because your comments are one that I truly enjoy reading, because I know how music really touches me, and to know that you were part of a generation where, and John Lennon said it best, like, there was no one before Elvis, and I don't even feel like that's complimentary. I feel like it is an actual fact. And whether he was influenced by, you know, black music or whatever he was influenced by, but it takes someone to be a risk taker, to be groundbreaking, and I feel that's what I learned from this film as well, just because obviously of that era of the 50s, which is neither of our era. I mean, you're not far off.
Yeah. I'll speak to you later on your own.
But I feel like I feel like of that generation, there were so many boundaries that people take for granted nowadays that you couldn't do. So for a male performer to kind of get on stage and gyrate like that, like, now you wouldn't think anything of it, but to take the risk that he did, and when he was told, no, you do need to change, and then something within him said, and like how his mum encouraged him and said, like, you've got that gift from God, so you need to kind of like follow that. And the fact that I find it so endearing now, and I feel like I completely understand why you guys as fans have been loyal and stayed loyal and talk about him the way that you do, because I found it so endearing to how much
it's inspiring, isn't it?
Yeah, he encapsulated music and just through the many genres he's done, through his gospel roots and through all of it, and the fact that he was always so, and I've said this when I've done reaction videos and seen him live performing, but he always comes across like so humble, so endearing to watch. He makes you smile, and I don't think he has the ego that you get with stars today, where he's kind of like gone to the head. I do feel
not
like
even half as talented as Elvis.
But then I feel like, as I was watching the film, there was elements where it didn't follow the typical kind of biography film where we kind of spent like half an hour into his childhood and then it went into his first single, Heartbreak Hotel. I feel like a lot of it kind of like jumped a lot quicker than, this is my opinion, I feel like it jumped a lot quicker than what I was expecting, to the point where it was like, oh, like, I would have liked to have heard that, but then I feel like we're seeing the film rounded in the way that it did, and its conclusion, I felt like the epic conclusion was just so incredibly moving. And I know I did a reaction to it, and obviously you guys have commented, told me stories and his backstory and different things like that, but there were certain moments in the film where it made me feel so incredibly emotional, and it also made me really, really angry as well, just like the Colonel, about how selfish and vindictive he was in wanting him. But the fact that Elvis really wanted to see his international fans, and, you know, Elvis is already the biggest selling of all time, but can you imagine that he just actually got that chance to actually go and see his international fans?
Would have been?
Wow. and it's one of them that is the what if, and that's really, really sad. It's sad for his fan base, and it's sad for him because I feel like he had that personal
he did really
goal,
want to go.
didn't he, to really want to do it?
Yeah,
and I found that really heartbreaking.
It was held back, wasn't he? Really, I mean, when you've got a dream, you're blessed to me. And I think now and then in certain generations and certain times, God blesses somebody to change things. He was definitely blessed and touched by the hand of God, as far as I'm concerned.
100%.
Because he changed a lot of things. And I just think, when you're a star, when you're bright like that, you can't clip someone's wings because they just wither and die. And that's what happened to him, unfortunately, in Vegas, as far as I'm concerned. I think Colonel Parker kind of kept him in a cage and just let him out now and then.
And maybe that might have been the reason why he delved so much into, like, you know, the pills and things like that, because you can't suppress a person.
No.
Like, it's almost like when you're in a job that you really, really don't like anymore, you know when it's time to go, you feel it in your soul, you feel it in your heart, and I feel like he just had that thing within him because he always wanted to do music even before he was discovered by him, and he just needed to fly.
Yeah, can I just say on this point as well, in terms of the film, the directorship, props to the director, because to me...
Baz Luhrmann.
Yeah. Baz Luhrmann, yeah. But what I'm saying is, in terms of what we were saying about Elvis's emotions at that point, where we're talking about, where he really wanted to, he really got the emotion. If you felt like you really felt what Elvis was thinking and what he was going through, his torment, and it's just so humbling, wasn't it? And it was just so sad as well, honestly. It brought me to tears in the end because you could feel his pain. He really got that to a T. And honestly, he deserves an Oscar for that performance, as far as I'm concerned.
I feel as well, one thing I like, and I know Baz Luhrmann, because he did Romeo and Juliet as well, and he does have, I've said it just at the beginning of the video, he has a very specific approach in directing. One thing that I really liked and I thought was really endearing was he kind of used real footage, didn't he?
Yeah.
And so it flashed back and forth from, like, you saw like the extras who were kind of that era, when they were kind of like putting their arms out to Elvis, and then it showed real footage of people at Elvis concerts, so we blended in like back and forth, and I found that approach really exciting, and it felt like you were almost falling into that era. Another spoiler, but you would have turned it off because I already told you the spoilers in this. But one thing I absolutely adored is the way that it ended, and it showed the real footage of Elvis when he sang Unchained Melody, because you guys got me to react to that, and I said to you guys I thought it was really emotional, and I actually dare I say preferred it to the Righteous Brothers version as well, because I felt like you could see his emotion, and obviously I think you guys told me, I think it was like 2 weeks later or something like that he passed away. But when you see how it's done in the film, or if you've watched it, I just thought that literally just was the icing on the cake to just say, do you know what, he was a legend, and not, and like, I found it really sad when he said that, you know, no one's gonna remember him. I feel emotional now, but I found it really sad because I remember watching the Judy Garland film as well, and do you remember at the end when she sang Over the Rainbow, and she said that, she goes, you won't forget me, will you? How could you ever forget a talent like that? It was just like someone in an era in the 1950s, you'd not long come out of the war, there wasn't little hope, and people just needed, when we watch films, when we listen to music, we want escapism. When we go to the movie theatre, we want to sit there, we want to forget about a 9 to 5 and just everyday life, and you sit there, the lights go down, and for just that tiny few hours, you have that escape. And I feel like what Elvis did in the 1950s is there was absolutely no one like him before or since, regardless of whatever he was influenced by, and he literally shone a light that will always live on, way past us, maybe even past next generation. So I certainly hope, and I said this when I did the trailer reaction, that the film reaches a broader mass. And you've seen it, for people that have been subscribed to my channel, like, you've seen me when I've sung songs with my nana and she's known the words to it. You've seen it when I've done it with my mum as well, and obviously I've learned more about Elvis from my mum and then from you guys as well. And then it's one of those things that, how can you true talent will always prevail.
Yeah.
I always believe that, and his songs are timeless. His who he was as a performer and the boundaries he broke. He literally came to earth, shone a light for a short period of time, and he's left a complete legacy and an impact on everyone.
Yeah.
And I feel that in your comments when you talk about what Elvis means to you, when you say he's the GOAT, he's the greatest of all time, and he truly is. So guys, I urge you to go and see it. It was incredible. Austin Butler, absolutely Oscar worthy, stunning performance. Olivia de Jong, again, incredible. Tom Hanks, he's a legend himself. He really, I feel like he really got under your skin. I feel like the interaction between them, especially towards the end when Elvis realizes that he has been holding him back, I felt that frustration as well. Like I really wanted him to just get on that plane, and I wanted him to tour the world and to live his dream as well.
But and he nearly did it, didn't he?
He got so close.
Got so close, and it's just like, and he managed to haul him back in, and it's just like, do you know, made me so angry.
For me, I'll probably give the film 4.5 out of 5.
Yeah, same here. Actually, same here. Definitely, without a doubt.
Out of 5?
Do you know? Yeah, definitely.
What do you give it out of 5?
I'd give it 5, actually, to be honest, because I just really thought that it just. I think that's the only Elvis film that's kind of like giving you a true insight into Elvis's emotions and his torment that he went through, the struggles that he went through, in the truest sense of the word. You know, it's not like just a fancy-wancy film about Elvis's life. It's about Elvis himself and what he went through, the torment, the struggles, the strife, the pain that he went through for his art and his talent, and to be who he wanted to be, do you know, and stuff. And I think what I liked about it as well is the fact that the relationship between him and Priscilla as well, that was done in a kind of different way. I mean, they truly loved each other, you know, and you could see that right to the end, that he loved her, you know. Yeah. And like how she really loved him as well. And some of the other films I've seen kind of like just talk about like him with other women and this, that and the other, and her leaving him, but it's about their relationship. There was a nice little moment where
it was really beautiful.
Oh yeah.
But really guys, nice make sure you go and see it. That's our review. And if you guys have seen it, please comment, because I'm really intrigued as to what you think, because obviously you guys are massive Elvis fans. But as always, I'll do Elvis reaction videos soon, and thank you so much. We can go on together with suspicious minds. Thank you so much, guys. Take care. Good night.
God bless.
Bye.
Bye.